So anyway, I'll just keep going and we'll just act like this is how it's going to happen. Boom. Pac-Man. Get a nice glare on there as well. So the other thing I went to go grab was to show off, and this is why I've got all these different games. Not any worse than the other camera. Yeah, I had a feeling it was going to be. So I've got this guy here, which is Miss Pac-Man on the sides. It's got 6 buttons and a little tiny joystick. Miss Pac-Man marquee on the top. And then on the back, it's got a little button and a switch to turn it on and off and reset it. And the back is just held on with a magnet. With a Game Boy SP on the inside, wired in to basically allow me to play Game Boy games, Game Boy Advance games I should say, on this little arcade model thing. It's more of a showpiece than most anything. It is playable, and it works better if I'm like playing, you know, Pac-Man or a Donkey Kong on it. It's cute in that way, but that's why you'll see a lot of classic arcade game collection pieces in here. So let's get through here. Moving right along. Game. No blemishes. So that was a long story. Next one up is Namco Museum. Whoops, there we go. Namco Museum. Game. This one's actually an original one that I had. I used to play this one when I would be on my lunch break at work all the time. Alright, next one up is just a compilation pack. Pong, Asteroids, and Yar's Revenge on this guy here. So kind of an Atari one. I have no idea what this is actually called. Let's see if there's a game called Atari Classics. Atari Anniversary Advance, maybe? Oh, there it is. Asteroids, Pong, Yar's Revenge. Just, that's what it is. Game. No blemishes. I'll just keep the theme going here. Spy Hunter and Super Sprint. So I'm hoping this is under just that exactly. Hey, look at that. Spy Hunter and Super Sprint combo. Alright, next one is Midway's Greatest Arcade Hits. It'll almost focus on it, but not really. Alright, Midway's. So it has Defender, Sinistar, Robotron, and Joust. See, now that's the type of thing I don't mind. Time for sugar packets. I don't know if that's something that I can has a big need for documenting. Suggested a game break. You talking about after I document my game collection? I'll be happy when this documenting is all done. Get back to being able to just play games. Next up is Paperboy and Rampage, because that's a combo that makes sense to put together. Not that I'm arguing. Alright. Then there's Konami Collection Series Arcade Advanced. Probably under K. There it is. Frogger, Time Pilot, Scramble, Gyrus, Ari Kung Fu, and another one that I can't tell exactly what it is. But a decent collection of games, I must say. Alright, and well, we still got two more of the arcade section. Just straight up NES Classic Series Xevious. Game, no blemishes. Smart glasses like Google. First person gardening, yeah, you never know. Probably not happening anytime soon though. Be first person like Vertigo. Super Breakout, Millipede, and Lunar Lander. Actually, that's pretty cool. Lunar Lander is a fun game. Another combo pack. This is my last one. I'm going to assume this is maybe under M for Millipede, hopefully. There it is. Alright, so that's it for all the little mini arcade style games. Now on to actual games. No particular order once again. We have Metroid Fusion. If I get super close, it still isn't going to do anything. Game. No blemishes. Alright. NES Classic Series Legend of Zelda. So it's probably under Z for Zelda. They had Zelda Link to the Past. Let's see what that looked like. So probably under L for Legend. What is this under? T for the? Ugh. Oh yeah, that's right, with the four swords. So what is this under? Zelda NES series. Oh, of course. Of course I missed it. Collection, game, no blemishes. Alright, and while we're down here, we may as well do the next one, which is Zelda Minish Cap. Game, no blemishes. And while we're still down at the bottom section here, we will do Yoshi's Island, Super Mario Advance 3, which is a sweet recreation of Yoshi's Island, which is not under Y for Yoshi. It's probably under Super Mario Advance 3, Yoshi's Island. Alright, Super Mario World, Super Mario Advance 2, just to keep things extra confusing. Super Mario Advance 2 is Super Mario World. I have not played Zelda Randomizer. I've seen and heard plenty about it, but I have not played it. Alright, going back up to the top. Next up is Advance Wars, a fantastic game which looks like there's a game much like this coming out for the Switch in the not too distant future. I don't remember what the name of it was, but it looked a lot like Advance Wars. Alright, next up is Boulder Dash EX. No blemishes. Battalion Wars, but hey, it's still a good game. Well, they're actually very... I mean, Battalion Wars is way different. Battalion Wars is real-time versus turn-based. But I also do like Battalion Wars. I do have Battalion Wars 1 and 2. But we will be getting to that later. Oh, get this one while we're still in the A area. We've got Astro Boy. Omega Factor. And I forgot that one, but we'll get back to that later. Next up is Jet Grind Radio, making its way onto the Advance. Jet Grind Radio on Dreamcast is fantastic. This actually is not a bad version of it. Just like the Tony Hawk series, which wouldn't make sense to put on Game Boy Advance, it actually worked. Alright, next up is a one you wouldn't think is probably all that good, but it's better than you might imagine. Ham Games, Hamtaro. There we go. Exactly, Drakendite. Alright, next up is Mario vs. Donkey Kong, which was a pretty good little puzzle style game. It's weird, I see this list of games, and I feel like I remember having more than just this. But apparently I didn't. Like, why do I not have Mario Pinball Land? Anyway. So here's a fantastic game that doesn't really get brought up too often. Pinball of the Dead. Mix of Pinball and House of the Dead. And it's actually really good. Well worth checking out if you ever have an opportunity to pick up Pinball of the Dead. And the last thing I've got in here, which we'll have to switch back to the DS, which we haven't even gotten to yet, is the Nintendo DS Rumble Pack. There it is. Let's see here. Sort by accessories. DS Rumble Pack. Let's put normal wear on it. Alright. So that concludes the loose portable Game Boy and Game Boy Advance and Game Boy Color games. Which means we got through this one drawer, which I would have been saving for later. Okay. So now we can go back to... Oh, we already are in DS. No, that's Game Boy Advance. DS. Alright, so now we can go into the Nintendo DS. Most of your G-Boy games into GameStop a ways back, converting 30 plus games into 2 Pokemon titles. Oh, jeez. Sounds like GameStop won again. Alright. First up is 999. It'd be 9 hours, 9 persons, 9 doors. I don't know if this little camera here makes more sense. If it makes sense for me to just go like this. That makes more sense at this point. So, just gonna remove that. Beep, get back to normal. Short-lived fun there. So 999 should be here. And I actually believe I have the game not in the case right now because it's in my baggie of games that I take with me when I travel. So, but I do have it all there. Game box manual. Stickers, normal wear. Next up is Advance Wars Dual Strike. Sequel for Advance Wars. And with the touchscreen, this actually turned out to be a pretty nice adaptation for this type of game. It was good. Actually look forward to the Switch style version of game coming out. So, Advance Wars Dual Strike. I don't have Days of Ruin. Let me see what the cover of that looks like. Yeah, I don't think I ever picked up Days of Ruin, which is weird, because I did like this series. This is one I own myself, so I'm going to put this as no blemishes. This I bought new, but thank you GameStop for letting this new game look like this. Go figure. That's okay. Next up is a game I never really put much time into, and I probably could have. Age of Empires, The Age of Kings. Everybody's there. I mean, this seems like it would make sense to enjoy this on a touchscreen style game like that. Very mixed bag. Interesting. Alright, here's one I've spent just a wee little bit of time playing. Or maybe a little bit more than that, to be perfectly honest. Animal Crossing Wild World. I have played my fair share of Animal Crossing, to say the least. Putting it on a portable system did not make it any easier for me to stop playing. Alright, this is one that may be in there, maybe not, probably not. It's Daigasso Band Brothers, which, if you're familiar with the DS, you would know that it's not region locked. So it was easy to import certain titles and play them on it, as long as it was something that was friendly enough that you could get through the menu systems. Let's see let's start with Band. Band Hero, nope. Alright, let's try Daigasso. DAI. Not happening. Okay, well, that one's not going anywhere. Oh, denied. There. Well done, Rudy. Well done. You aren't streaming right now, Rudy? Alright. Here's another action-y, rhythm-y game. Big Bang Mini. Uses bright fireworks. Yeah, everybody's there. No stream tonight? Next up, DS had plenty of this style of game, this type of game, and some of them are pretty good. I enjoyed these. The old Big Brain Academy. Just mind puzzles. Game's got all the value. And then right behind that one is Brain Age. Everybody had to get a copy of Brain Age back then. Super popular, all the Sudoku you could want on the go before Sudoku was super popular. Next up is Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow, the DS series of Castlevania games, which followed similarities of Symphony of the Night. Game box, manual, stickers, normal wear, thank you, GameStop once again. brother didn't have Brain Age. That's crazy. Felt like everybody bought Brain Age. Or at least they were tapping into a different market with that. I don't blame you, Namus. So you broke Sudoku. Next up is Castlevania Portal of Ruin. Now, I'm missing the Order of Ecclesia. But this is the type of situation where now that I've got this documented, it's the type of thing where I don't remember, in all honesty, which games I actually still have or which ones I was missing. So this would be handy for me to not buy doubles by accident, which I did for the Castlevania series as well. And I was able to take it back, luckily enough. Alright, next one is Chibi Robo Park Patrol. This is a Walmart exclusive game. Keep that Chibi Robo series going alive. Had his remaster and he even got his own amiibo. It's a game that I'm kind of surprised actually did not go up in price. It's just, I think, not very well known. Alright, last one on this shelf is Chrono Trigger. So in case you're looking to get yourself a copy of Chrono Trigger and you don't feel like shelling out big dollars on the Super Nintendo version, you can shell out much less for a DS copy. Actually, I gotta put normal wear on it since there's a little dent in the front of the box. But there you go. Championship Pony. You want me to check that out for you, Rudy? There you go. Oh, look at that. That is definitely a pony. It can be yours, Rudy, for very low cost. Uh-oh. Shelving unit's starting to fail on me here. Apparently I'm missing a... That's no good. Getting a DS now? I don't blame you. Alright. We can keep working here. This is actually a really fun game. And another thing that makes this one so good is that, and the DS did this quite a bit, is if you have multiple systems, they have a lot of single card download play, which back then was awesome. Clubhouse games. It's got over 40 games, and even though they're simple stuff, there's some pretty cool stuff on here. Probably wouldn't be worth revisiting someday. Alright. Here's one that I never really got into as much as I should have. And I felt like I might have liked it. Just because the humor involved seemed right up my alley. Contact. Atlas game. It tells you right on the back of it, okay? Things you won't find in Contact. A dull moment, normalcy, a guy with spiky hair and or amnesia, dramatic monologues, the same battles you've been fighting since the 16-bit era. Things you will find in Contact. Monkeys, cosmic terrorists, powerful attack stickers, fishing, cooking, humor, fun with Nintendo Wi-Fi, deeper meaning in life, asterisk, and the asterisk says, results may vary, costumes that increase your power and make you more fun to be around. Just saying. I mean, just look at the front of the manual on it. It just tells you that it's just an interesting game. I can't imagine it's expensive either. It's got a little bit of cost to it, surprisingly. No blemishes. Alright, so here's one that I missed out on early in the DS era, but highly recommended. And I waited way too long to get a copy, but I do have one finally. And that's Contra 4. It is a fantastic Contra. And I don't have the disc in here only because, or the card in here, because it's in my baggie of games that I'm playing on the regular when I travel, which is probably where it's going to stay. A proper sequel indeed. Also, after even playing it, I realized there was a extras mode where they give you a bunch of little challenges to do, and when you complete enough of them, it unlocks like literally more games inside the game to play. It's crazy. Alright, next up is Cooking Mama, which was the first entry into the Cooking Mama series for the US audience, as far as I'm aware, and it was fresh at the time, no pun intended, but it was fun. The same kind of fun I had playing Order Up. Might not hold up as well today because it's been done, but I'd be lying to say I didn't have fun with it. And then to follow along with the Order Up franchise, we've got Diner Dash, which Order Up is basically taking these two games and fusing them into one. Diner Dash and Cooking Mama. That's right, Drakendite. But Diner Dash turned into basically a freemium game online on your phone eventually, which meant that they created a million styles of it. But it was good. And why do I not see it here? Did it not make the Diner Dash Sizzle and Serve? Alright, now they're going to make me search for it. I don't know why I didn't see it, but there it is. It wouldn't surprise me. Diner Dash was everywhere. Whatever they can stick it on, you can find a dash and diner. Alright, so here's not a bad one. Dominium, The Ward. So this was, I can't remember if this was the first game or the second game by this renegade kid. I think this was the first one. The second one was Moon. But first person, bit of horror, survival horror, first person survival horror. Very interesting type game to have on this type of system. But not that bad. I don't think I ever did Dominium 2, to be honest. We'll put this one in first. Like Pinball Arcade. Yeah, like Pinball Arcade is put on everything, exactly. I don't think I ever got Dominium 2. I don't recall this cover. Probably why it costs more, because it's probably not as common. I have no idea if that was any good. Next up is Diddy Kong Racing, DS. It's Diddy Kong Racing Experience on a DS. So it's what it is. You want a Diddy Kong race on the go? Now you can. With 2 screens. Here's one that kind of fits the concept of the DS well. I mean, it was hard for me to say no. I had to get it. Drawn to Life. I can't draw. I've got no art skills. But you can draw your characters, you can draw stuff in the game, and then it goes into the game. Like, how does that not sound appealing? There's Diner Dash. I don't know how I missed that. Oh, they had a Dokapon game. Drawn Life. I don't realize they had a Dokapon game on DS. It's expensive now. This game is not. No blemishes. Alright, so here's a cool experience. I say that because it's not really so much a game. Looney Tunes Duck Amuck. And if you're not familiar with Duck Amuck, it's basically one of the great Looney Tunes episodes. I'm going to assume it's under L for Looney Tunes. This is super cheap. I call it a non-game because it's more of an experience than a game. Because if you know what the episode Duck Amuck is, it basically messes with you, you mess with it in the same way that the episode acts. Amazing Short, exactly. The fact that they made a game out of it, crazy. But if you can pick it up on the cheap for $3, it's worth it just to have it as a piece of the collection. It's very cool. Alright, next up is Electroplankton, which I have the Japanese version of Electroplankton. I did not get the US version because I already had this one. And this came out way before the... I'm just going to mark it just so I know that it says I have it, even though I have a different version. This came out way before this came out in the US, so I couldn't resist. It's a fun experience once again. The DS had some experiences on it, and I was okay with that. Speaking of another experience, Elite Beat Agents, although this is much more of a game than an experience, but a great game at that, and very different for people who aren't familiar with playing very strange rhythm games. But this was a very good one. Highly recommended. It had some really good songs to go with it, and it was fun to play. There you go, Rudy. Exactly. So, once again, we'll jump into the word experience. Feel the Magic, XYXX. This was a launch title for the DS. So I picked it up because there wasn't a whole lot to go with as far as playing games back then. And as weird as it seems, I had a lot of fun playing this game. It was basically just a series of mini games showing off the touch controls and whatnot. And I don't know why. The music might be what made it interesting, or the fact they had a little bit of story going on there. But I was compelled. I enjoyed playing it. And then on the other side of the world is Final Fantasy Echoes of Time. just to change things up a little bit. This was a multiplayer version of Final Fantasy that I remember being pretty neat. So I'll just throw it out there now. I do have 2 copies of it so that I could play it multiplayer. So Final Fantasy Echoes of Time. Of course, the other one I got was from GameStop, so it's covered in stuff. Hey, Inhuman Beatdown, how's it going, man? We're just working on DS games right now. Just finished the first rack. Alright, we've done this one already. Alright, so here's another one that's cool. Easy to recommend, but it turned into some sort of like freeware, like pay-to-play type game on like your phone. But you could just buy it originally. And it's got one of the greatest characters ever in it. Ghost Trick Phantom Detective. You're a detective that dies, and as a ghost, you solve puzzles to uncover the truth of your death. And it's got some pretty cool puzzles and gameplay aspects to it. And it's made by Capcom, but utilizes a certain type of, and I don't remember the name of it, a certain type of like animation style that just looks really cool. So Ghost Trick Phantom Detective. I don't know if it's, I mean, a little bit, but, I mean, it's no Ghost Dad, if that's what you're getting at, Namus. Center to hook up 64, PS2, GameCube, never owned a DS, heard it's some pretty good. Yeah, there's a lot of, Proton John playing it. There's a lot of really good DS games out there. It would be easy for me to point out a lot of the ones that I really like. I've got some filler and whatnot, stuff that I have, but there's plenty of really good ones in the lineup that I've got. Alright, next one is Grand Theft Auto Chinatown Wars. It's Grand Theft Auto portably. It utilizes some touch controls in a cool way, and it's not terrible. I'm sure that's a great review. I mean, it's okay if you're interested in playing some portable Grand Theft Auto built for a portable system. It's not bad. So we've got more, obviously it's more of a top-down like the original Grand Theft Auto 1 and 2, but it's definitely functional. Grease the movie? Which one? Chinatown Wars? Alright. So getting into here's another game that I usually recommend for people when given the opportunity. Oh, Grease. You're talking about Grease. Yeah, that's Grease, the movie. Alright. So this one I love to recommend to people. It is a great game. The puzzles can get a little tough, but there just aren't enough games that are like this. They took the opportunity to have this system work out for what this was. And that's Hotel Dusk, room 215. It's a noir-style storybook mystery game, mystery puzzle solving game. And there aren't many games that do it, but you hold the DS on its side like a book rather than in the vertical normal position. And you're playing on the two screens, utilizing the touchscreen for many of the movements, but there's a lot of story that goes along with it. And it's a game that's just... If the idea of playing a game like that sounds at all interesting, definitely worth checking out. To me, it's the kind of game that probably wouldn't make for a bad streaming game. A little slow, but still, it would be fun. And you could get people to join in and help with the puzzle solving. Unless you have someone who obviously knows it all already and can just bust in there and ruin everything. But less a chance that I would have that experience on Twitch. Phoenix Wright, but that was only thanks to the power of emulation. Gotcha. Next up is Kirby's Canvas Curse. They remade this game on the Wii U. Clever game. It's a fun game, utilizing the touchscreen to show it off. It was one of the earlier games. But it's a fun platformer style game that's just different, utilizing the touchscreen aspects. Drawing lines to create platforms to have Kirby roll around. Okay, next on the Kirby kick is Kirby Superstar Ultra. Basically taking Kirby Superstar and making it portable, I guess you could say. More Kirby action for you on the go. Alright, another experience game. And I bought this one from Japan. I do not have the US version. It's Korg DS10 Synthesizer. But I'll mark it anyway, even though I don't have the US version. But a type of game you don't necessarily need to... the menus will get you through no problem. And if you're looking to just create some musical beats, you can have fun with this. Even if you're not good at that type of thing, you can find a way to have fun with it. Alright, so I mentioned before about Hotel Dusk. They made a sequel to Hotel Dusk called Last Window, The Secret of Cape West. Unfortunately, this did not come out in the US. So if you want a copy of this, you got to order it from Europe. But the good thing is, once again, the DS is region free, so you'll have no trouble playing this on your regular DS. So it's probably not in here, but we'll have a look anyway. Sometimes you never know. And last, not happening. Alright, well, we don't get to enter it in, but there we go. More Hotel Dusk for you. Alright, getting into some Zelda action here. Zelda, Legend of Zelda Phantom Hourglass. So, touch screen Zelda action. Game's missing just because I have it in my baggie of games. Let's see if this is under Z. You got your Zeldas down here. Zelda Phantom Hourglass. English language settings, well, yeah. It helps. It helps. Alright, so more Zelda. Link on a Train, Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks. In case you like Zelda and trains, we got your back with some Zelda tracks, Spirit Tracks. Boom. And funny enough, this game I literally just got the other day. This was the new one that I put on my PS4 that I just got since they just released it. But they also released this a long time ago, Lock's Quest, on the original DS. So, in case you missed it all those years ago, you can buy it again today on the PS4. But this is to build and battle in the ultimate construction combat game. Basically, you build up towers, weapons, traps, more defend your creations from invaders. You get to build your castle and then battle. So a little bit more than just your normal type of what the hell do you call that? I can't remember. Anyway, neat game. I remember enjoying it back in the day, playing it. So, yeah, tower defense, that's the word I was looking for. Not really. It's more than tower defense, if you will. But probably, and this is before tower defense was really even a thing. But it's kind of tower defense, I guess. I guess it's fair to call it tower defense, but not in the type of way where you have a path and you're making towers along it. It's more just building your castle, from what I recall. I remember playing it and having fun. That's what I remember. Alright, last one in this stack is Mario Hoops 3-on-3, because you need Mario Basketball on a DS. But, as silly as it was, I remember actually playing this and having a good time as well. Because Mario Sparks titles tend to still come out as being decent. And I'm a sucker for Mario sports titles, what can I say? Alright, stack is done. Save this for a minute later. Alright. Mario Kart DS. Obviously fairly popular for most DS owners to get Mario Kart DS. Solid Mario Kart title. Online. I remember having a good time. Super Mario Strikers. Super Mario Strikers is fun. I played that on stream too. That was a good time. So, Mario vs. Donkey Kong 2. More March of the Minis. More puzzle action. Okay, Mario and Luigi, Partners in Time. The bunches of Mario RPG style games on the DS. Yes, there was a Mario vs. Donkey Kong 2. But then again, you didn't have the DS, so I could see why you didn't get that one. You missed Mario Strikers? It's, the one on the Wii I felt was really good. I remember playing that online and having a great time with it. Alright, so here's another experience game. And this is applies to the other thing. And sometimes it's funny that I end up seeing this for sale loose, because it doesn't make a lot of sense. But Master of Illusion. Basically, it's magic tricks that you can do. And it comes with a deck of cards. So if you buy the game loose and you don't have the cards, you're kind of missing a good portion of the game. And it's been a long time since I've actually jumped in. See, like $2. Like, nobody's got the deck of cards to go with it. Never got used to the Wiimote Nunchuck. I want to say you could use the classic controller as well. But I did use the Wiimote Nunchuck myself anyway. Alright. Next up is a later pickup for me on this one. But Metal Slug 7. Require the Wiimote Nunchuck? Gotcha. Okay. This one was a puzzle game that I really liked. And then they made a version of this on the 360, I believe. And I downloaded for that, and I don't think it was that good. But I remember really liking this one. Meteos, however you want to say it. It's a puzzle dragging game, and it does a nice little different thing on the puzzle genre. And I remember it was a fun game. Mega shots were a bit too powerful. They were a bit powerful. Although, when you're playing against a human person, it was a lot easier to block them. So you couldn't always pull them off. If you're talking about like the Mega Strike shot, I think that's what you're referring to. Alright, don't know if it's in here, but I got the Metroid Prime Hunter's First Hunt, which is basically the little demo you got when you bought the DS. Hey, they do have it. So we'll put that in there. I've got it complete. I'll put normal wear because it's a sleeve and it's got some worn edges, but it's all there. Based on your ability to time properly, could be stopped easily. I gotcha. Alright, and then of course Metroid Prime Hunters, the complete version, which I've got the disc once again in my baggie. I can understand that, Dragon Knight. Alright, here's one that's just straight up good. And included the Rumble Pack, by the way. Came with the Rumble Pack. And certainly recommended. Metroid Prime Pinball. It's a solid pinball game in the Metroid Prime universe. Easy to recommend. Especially if you like pinball. And in theory, it was supposed to come with a Rumble Pack. AKA Shaker Motor. Alright, I referenced this one earlier. Made by Renegade Kid. Or Mastiff. As well. Different publisher. Moon. Thank you, GameStop, for putting a sticker on it. So, Mo. Big shocker, right? Exactly. A lot of monster games. There we go, Moon. That's what the cover looks like when it's not covered in stickers. So this is another first-person, a first-person shooter, basically. Moon is on the DS. All right, here's one that I literally never played. Good work, me. Ninja Gaiden Dragon Sword. I still have it sealed with the Best Buy sticker right on the top. I think I did too, which is why I'm sure I bought it. But yeah, apparently I never got around to playing it. Good work. And then here's kind of a... Now here's your tower defense game. Here's your straight up tower defense game. Ninja Town. For all your adorable tower defending needs. Comes with a free sticker. Actually, this is a pretty decent game. I've got it in my baggie as well. Look at that. They're adorable. Alright, we'll do one more shelf and I'm going to call it a night. Getting to be about that hour. Alright, a lot of people had this one. Nintendogs. I went with Lab and Friends version. And I ended up using the Pembroke Welsh Corgi. Little doggy right there. So yeah, I still got a dog on this cart. I wonder how he's doing. Maybe I can check in on him someday. I'm sure he's fine. I played it quite a bit. I won't lie. It was fun. Alright, there's another one that I'm sure is not in the system here. And I guess I'll probably not going to remember the name of it. But it's the Japanese original before Elite Beat Agents, Ouenden. I can't remember the rest of it, but I believe it's Ouenden. And I do have this one in my ready-to-go games as well. It's a rhythm game with hilarious songs and animations. Yeah, I'm sure it's not in there. So we'll just assume that I'm not entering that one. And then it also had a sequel, Ouenden 2, we'll call it. Once again, I have no idea. I'll guarantee it's not in there, so we'll just keep on moving here. Alright, here's a series I always wanted to like more, but I could just never figure out how to get into it. Overlord Minions. It was cheap. I love the idea of the Overlord games, but I don't know. I got it in my bag, trying to play it, hoping to like it. I want to like it. Osu Tataka Ouenden. There we go. Thank you. Yeah, I was right. Ouenden. Can't believe I remember that. Overlord in general. I just never got into any of the Overlord games. I've tried them. This was $4, so I picked it up, figuring I'm traveling. I'll try this one too, see if it's any good. But I mean, I've got Overlord on the 360. Just I don't know why I just couldn't click with it. I love Gremlins. I would think the idea of having a game with Gremlins in it would overpower anything and make me want it more. Alright, so here was an early release game that was cool because it was the DS, it was early on. There are no other games like it. Pac Pix. Of course, it's Pac-Man related, so I had to have it. And you draw your Pac-Man, and he eats the ghosts going around the board. It's cool to see the little Pac-Mans that you draw come to life and go eat stuff. But, yeah. Alright, now on to these. Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. A lot of Pets games there. No comment. Phoenix Wright's games are great if you've got more time than you need. Phoenix Wright, Justice for All. Phoenix Wright, Trials and Tribulations. Yeah, I didn't know pretty much most of any of the songs in the New Ending games before I played them, but they are extremely catchy, especially when you're interactively playing with them. Alright, so here's a series that Nintendo has had in its back pocket for a while, and they probably could go ahead and promote it more. One of the, Picross DS, they had Picross on the Game Boy, and it's a neat take for a puzzle game. It's fun. I played this a good bit, especially great for when you're traveling if you're looking for puzzle games. Yeah, there we go. Not Pictionary. Why does that look different than mine? Because that's not a US one, that's why. Alright, one more stack to go for the night. Alright, next one. If you really like your Tetris Attack on the go, you got Planet Puzzle League, which how many different ways can you name the exact same game? I don't know. But we're going to try. Alright, so here's a guilty pleasure of mine. I like the arcade game of this, and this is really not that bad. I actually take this one with me too, so I don't have the game. Hey, Fugle. We're actually coming in on the close of cataloging time, but there's still a little bit left. I don't have the game in here, but it is Point Blank DS. So light gun shooting like mini games, if you will. And it works well enough on the DS with the tapping aspect. It's still fun. I enjoy it. That's right, Fugle. Alright. And of course I couldn't help myself but to try to get into it, even though I've never really gotten into one. Pokemon Diamond. I had to throw my attempt at playing a Pokemon game when it came out. I tried. I played it for a while. I didn't stick with it. Alright, now here's a series of games that I also enjoyed. Once again, the DS really excelled at having a different style of game. Professor Layton in the Curious Village. I enjoy logic puzzles, so this was kind of a good fit for me. I enjoyed it. The only thing I didn't care for about this was when you're traveling around the village and there's like little hidden coins all over the place, and you're stuck there literally just tapping everywhere on the screen looking for these stupid little hidden coins. Like, I really want to spend my time doing that. But I did. They're logic puzzle games, so they're not your typical type of puzzle games. So you get like puzzle games in the style of, hey, you've got a raft, 3 things on this side, 3 things on the other side. You need to bring them all over to the other side without having the wolves eat your chickens or whatever. And then there's Professor Layton in the Diabolical Box. Professor Layton in the Unwound Future. Just more and more logic puzzles. He did have a crossover with Phoenix Wright. That is correct. This is another series where I got into just trying to collect them, just to have them all. And I had trouble remembering which ones I had and which ones I didn't. So Last Spectre, I could never remember that I had it or not. So I'd be at the store and I would see the different games and I could never remember. Now with the fact that I'm documenting them, at least I'll be able to remember, which is good. So here's a fantastic game that really did a great job of blending a classic Match 3 style with actually real adventure gameplay. Puzzle Quest. Originally played it on the DS, and then it came out on everything and its brother and got copied 1,000,000 times over. If you've never played a Puzzle Quest game, easy to recommend. Match 3 done right. And then kind of in the same vein of what I said, Puzzle Quest Galactrix, taking Puzzle Quest into space for more space puzzle action. It's more of the same type. I like the original Puzzle Quest more than this, so given the choice, I'd say play the original, don't play Galactrix. But I do have this game in my baggie of games that I take with me. I was trying it out again and seeing if I could get further in it, enjoy it more. It was still fun. Alright, I've got time. I'll do one more half a row, and then we'll call it a night. So here's another brain activity style game mixed with, making it more game centric. A game called Quick Spot. So in Asia, these are quite popular. Spot the difference type games. I actually have seen arcade machines in Korea where people were playing just the bejesus out of it, where you just sit there and you've got two images and you just touch where the differences are between the images. People were eating it up. And this is pretty similar to that idea in a DS game. So I'm sure this sold well overseas. I'll guarantee it probably didn't do too well here. It sure isn't worth a whole lot. Alright, so here's one that's pretty cool. You'll probably hear people talk about this one a bit if they're talking about DS games that people don't talk about enough. And that's Retro Game Challenge. Pretty neat game. Basically, it takes you back in time. You are this guy here that basically you're hanging out with this guy who's got a video game system, a new video game system. And you have these games to play. And they're like basically mini old style games mocked up of like original games that you, and these actually might be real games from Asia or from Japan, I'm not sure, to be perfectly honest. And you play through little challenges to try to beat the game master, if you will, and then you unlock more games and more games. It's just very, you play it and it's just very like takes you back if you grew up playing games, sitting in front of the TV, having a friend you're playing with that kind of thinks he's really great or whatever. It was a cool experience. I didn't play it all the first time I played it, but then I went back and I played it all the way through, and it was a good time. Probably easy to recommend if you like retro games. So, Retro Game Challenge. Apparently it's got some value to it and might be tougher to get now than I thought. But there's Retro Game Challenge. And then I later found out that they made a sequel, Retro Game Challenge 2. But this did not come out to the US. So this is a repro version of Retro Game 2 that you can play on your DS. Came with cart and whatnot. So this is just a repro mock-up. This is not in there, but it is a real game. Alright, here we go. Another one from a great series of games, and this is a good addition of that series. Rhythm Heaven. Tap into the rhythm. Basically a bunch of rhythm games using a lot of tapping and swiping techniques, but it's a really good way of playing a rhythm game. Easy to recommend. They have a Wii version of Rhythm Heaven as well, which is great too. I'd recommend that one as well. Whichever one you can get your hands on, I'd say it's worth your time if you enjoy a good old-fashioned rhythm game. Yeah, that happens, Fugel. That happens. Alright, so mentioned it before, Feel the Magic XYXX came out with the launch of the system, and then eventually later, they made a sequel to that one because the first one wasn't weird enough. That would be Rub Rabbits. Now it's not a direct sequel, but it's basically the exact same type of game with the exact same style and visual look, so I'd call it a sequel. Rub Rabbits. I enjoyed it. It didn't quite have the pull that the first one did with me, but I still enjoyed the quirkiness of it. Hey, what's his toes? I used to have Guitar Hero for the DS. I ended up selling it because I went through my DS games trying to get through them or like find stuff to filter out, and I just was honest with myself. Am I ever really going to play this again? I did have the carpal tunnel in a box, and it is exactly that. It's not comfortable to play. So do I really want to go through all that hassle, or would I just go play Rock Band? And the answer is I just go play Rock Band. I don't need to collect it. So that one bit the dust. So here's another game that I really was into when it came out, just because of how groundbreaking cool it was. That'd be Scribblenauts. Scribblenauts has gone on well past its original stages, where you just write a word and it appears. The only problem was, once you figure out just a few things, like a flying unicorn or a jetpack, you're solving nearly all the puzzles without having to be creative anymore. That was the only drawback. And then they made Super Scribblenauts and added more to it. I believe what they added was adjectives, which was cool. Cool enough to get me to buy another copy of Scribblenauts. Of course, I got to scroll down to Super. And now you can get Scribblenauts probably for free on any phone or device like that. Not a tough one to pick up nowadays. Alright, up next, and this is a heavy one. It's got a manual and a half. It's got a ton of stuff. Star Fox Command. This was a little bit different than your average Star Fox title. In all honesty, I don't remember enough about it to really talk about it. Other than it was okay, it was different, and I remember not playing it a lot. It would be the type of game I wouldn't mind revisiting to see what it was all about again. Alright, now for another launch title. Super Mario 64 DS. The concept that, oh wow, you can play a Super Mario 64 again on the DS portably? That is cool. And that helped sell the DS back in its infancy, when everybody thought that, what in the world were they thinking? But one of the coolest things about this particular game, similar to Clubhouse games, is with one cart you can download onto other DSs, and they had tons of mini games that you could play. And I will say, these mini games, a lot of them were amazing. It was like a little bit of Mario Party free, if you will. And some of them were just a lot of fun to play. I remember playing a lot of these and having a blast. So, hey Drakendite, thank you so much for coming by. We've only got 2 left here. I'm just about done with the stream today anyway. Always appreciated having you come by. You have a good one. Next up is New Super Mario Brothers. So this was one of their first forays back into the whole, getting back into the whole 2D Mario bit. And I remember thinking this was good, not great. I don't know why, it never really clicked with me. I played all the way through, but I just don't know why I didn't really love it. Maybe I just, I was playing it on a plane, and maybe I was just getting air sick, travel sick playing it. And then the last one for tonight's stream is Super Monkey Ball Touch and Roll. I was a big fan of Super Monkey Ball on the GameCube, so couldn't pass up more Super Monkey Ball action. It was not as good as a regular Super Monkey Ball, but it's still some Monkey Ball. So, there's that. Alright. That'll wrap it up. Thank you, everybody.